discredited not only Bladen County, but they discredited this America.
Yes.
Yes.
I better shut up.
Moved from her home. And I called her today and asked her if she want to come over. And she said, Miss Cogdell, I'm getting a little tired. She said, I've told these people the same story 3 times. And every time I tell the story, they want me to tell it again. She said, I'm 87 years old, and all I want is my vote to count. She said, I don't think I want it. But I want to kind of, with all this media here tonight, I want to kind of bring something to your attention. In 2016, I got a phone call that someone had went to an individual house and removed the lady and her 2 sons' ballots. They came by and got them, and they hadn't returned them. And she called me to come by and talk to her. When I spoke with her in 2016, I got her to agree to file a complaint. But what I did, I had her to do a copy of it and write it out. And when I went over to give it to the Board of Elections, I had already sent it to the State Board of Elections. Because I wanted to make sure it got where it needed to go.
That's right.
2 or 3 days later, the ballot showed back up.
That's right.
They came right back to the lady's house about 3 days later. She called me and said, Mr. Cogdell, those boys brought my ballot back. And we talked about that thing. Went back to the Board of Elections, and nothing was done about that. Didn't hear a thing about it. I'm sitting at the house this time in 2018. I get a phone call. Somebody had removed some ballots. I get on the phone, we made a few phone calls, I take off again. I go over to see Miss Shippen, talk to her about what happened. She would tell me what was going on. And I got her to agree to do a complaint. I did the same thing. I sent one to the State Board of Election, and I sent one over to the Board of Election. 3 days later, the ballot showed back up again. You got to ask yourself, and this is something she said, why has this not been told out? All the stories I heard, that has not been publicized, that these ballots are showing back up. And my question is, how do the individuals that's returning them know that we went over and made those complaints? That's the question. That needs to be answered. And Ms. Shippen told me, she said, Cogdell, how long is it going to take for folks to believe when we tell them someone has done something? All they do is think we tell lies about things all the time. And when this thing happened in 2016, we got grilled into court by McCray Dallas for voter fraud with Governor not with his name, but McCory. And we got drug into court. And that's when this thing came out with Dallas about he was up there doing what he had no business doing. So the Lord turned that thing right around, right back out. And he got turned right back in. Now here we go again. And I'm just wondering, all I can hear is what did they do? What did they do? Oh, is somebody else done it? I got a philosophy. You can do wrong all you want to. But when you do wrong and get caught, you got caught with your hand in the cookie jar. And that's when you caught. That's when you're doing what you need to do is wrong. And I'm tired of them, everybody, trying to redirect what they have done. Ms. Shippen said, Cogdell, please tell them that. And she said, tell them, leave me alone. Because I'm 87 years old, I don't know how many more times I'm going to have to vote. She said, but I want this one to count. So I'm hoping to make this count.
Something you probably have not been thinking about, whatever. Mr. Hayes, Preacher Hayes just touched on it for a minute, but I'm Billy M. Moore, and I'm a former sheriff of Bladen County. I have great respect for a former sheriff, Mr. Benson. Great respect. Where is he at? Mr. Franklin. There he is. I'm a pastor teacher. I'm a chaplain in Taylor City Police Department, functioning as a captain. I love my community. My concern is, as a law enforcement officer, We have a code of ethics. We abide by it. When we compromise our ethics, then people lose trust in our ability to serve our constituents. We must answer questions when asked by the media. I cannot compromise my personal ethics. We know this has been going on for many, many years. I even wonder now, Mr. Prentice, Sheriff Prentice, about 2010, what happened then. I have respect for all. God made us all. Matthew 6:33, seek his kingdom first. That's what we have to do in this county. That's what we have to do in this country. That's what we have to do in this world. That's the only answer. He's the only answer we have. But we have to turn our life over to him. I didn't come here to preach, okay? I cannot compromise my personal ethics. I just repeat that. It's very important to me. I've been in the criminal justice system for 40-some years, and I love what I do, and I love the people, and that's what who counts. And I love children, and I detest drugs. Okay, I detest drugs in our schools. It's very personal to me. And I thank you very much.
Mr. Cogdell, if he would come back, please. And I would also like to ask Mr. Withrow if he would come and stand with me, please. My name is Linda Baldwin. I'm from the Ammon community. I'm the one that Mr. Cogdell was speaking about. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak on this unfortunate situation that I had to encounter. In the 2016 election, I had a young man to come to my home. He told me that he was a college student and that he was being paid for getting people to fill out absentee ballots. As a retired educator, I agreed to fill out the ballots to assist a young man in getting paid. In fact, I filled out one for my two sons, my daughter, and myself. The young man told me that he had to have a witness, so he would have to take the unsealed ballots with him for someone to sign. He told me that he would return in a couple of days with the ballots. He never returned. That's when I called Mr. Cogdell. And I asked Mr. Cogdell, what should I do? He told me what to do. I went to the Board of Elections, filled out the information, gave them the information, and from there, very little was done. I'm standing tonight so that my children, my great-grandchildren, my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, so forth and so on, may have the opportunity to vote, and their votes will count. Thank you.
I tell you, it's a great day in Bladen County. We gotta say that one more time because it's hard to get people to come out and pack a church at this time. It's a great day. As the young Democrat candidate from Bladen County Sheriff, I'm a little bitter tonight. But as Rev said, I still have a song. I'm bitter tonight because I know we gave it our all. It's one thing to lose when it's fairly done. But it's another thing to lose when unjust is done. Graham said in his words that they're using the word harvest, but the correct word is seed. I'm bitter tonight, but I still have a song. You know, I wasn't going to say anything, but when I look around at all my supporters, I said it takes a leader to stand up and let them know that we shall not We shall not sit quiet. Dr. Martin Luther King said a man cannot ride your back unless you bend over and let him. Tonight is not tonight for us to bend over and let the man ride our back. For we know it's a long battle that we must fight.
That's right.
But one thing about it, as long as we got people willing to fight the battle, the victory is already won. So Blaine County citizens, surrounding county citizens, let's stand for justice.
That's right.
And I told somebody before, we don't want no patty cake justice. We want swift justice. And I'm leaning and depending on my Lord and Savior
That's
Jesus
right.
Christ. Because I know He's able to do exceedingly and abundantly.
Yes, he is.
And today I still have a song.
Yeah. Amen.
I have a song that justice will be served. That I hope the Wayne County and surrounding counties will no longer be stolen.
That's right.
I have a song that more young people
Yes.
will stand up for justice.
Yes. Yes.
And just know, we shall not sit quiet.
That's right.
We shall not sit quiet. Because justice will be served.
All right.
And they keep saying another election. As Rev said, why should there be another election when crookedness is already done on the other side?
Right.
I don't see that to be fair. But I say this, that if another election is called,
Amen.
that we must come out together
Yes.
and come out and represent. Ram told a story at the meeting in Raleigh about the rabbits. And I'm not going to talk about the rabbits, but we must do just like the rabbits did. But we must tie our tails together. And we must go to the polls and vote. So Blaine County, if a new election is called, let's get out and vote.
Requested absentee ballots with voters like your mom saying, I didn't do this. Robinson County, the Republican chair of the County Board of Elections, reported to the state board, said, we're getting people dropping off absentee requests in stacks. And this is part of the issue of, like one of the examples I put on one of my slides was a voter who didn't request an absentee ballot, so didn't fill it out, but someone came to her house and said, well, I'll get rid of it for you, right? So it feels like, you start smelling smoke over and over again, that there's a fire somewhere. And so there does appear to be a pattern across these counties and Columbus County of absentee ballots being requested that weren't requested by the voter, perhaps in hopes of more of those situations. Where someone shows up at your mom's door and says, oh, well, I'll get rid of it for you.